Every morning she takes off her ring. Just for a moment, places it on the sink edge, washes her hands and walks away. It seems harmless. A routine. A small habit shared by so many women. But what if that tiny act is slowly draining your fortune? In Feng Shui, the bathroom is more than a place of water. It's where energy swirls, scatters, and slips away. And when we leave jewelry, our carriers of intention, memory, and prosperity, in these spaces, we unknowingly allow our wealth energy to wash down the drain. Jewelry isn't just decoration. It holds your warmth, your wishes, your power. Left in cold, damp, or unstable places like the mirror shelf, toilet lid, or next to running water, it loses its clarity. And so do you. That may be why your money slips away, your confidence fades, your plans stall. This isn't superstition, it's a quiet misalignment, and it can be gently undone. So ask yourself, where do you place your jewelry each day? And could that one small habit be the reason your fortune keeps disappearing? Number 1, bathroom mistakes, where prosperity gets flushed away. It always begins with good intentions. We want to protect our jewelry from water, from slipping down the drain, from reacting to soap or shampoo. So we set it aside just for a moment, on the edge of the sink, on top of the toilet, on the corner of a mirror shelf. A safe place, we think, but what seems safe to the eye may be quietly dangerous to your energy. In classical Feng Shui, bathrooms are never neutral. They are zones of release, not retention. Water flows in, but more importantly, it flows out. It carries away the old, the used, the waste. That same water flow that cleanses the body also has the power to pull energy out of your life, especially if what you place near it is emotionally or energetically charged. Jewelry is charged. Jewelry holds memory. It absorbs your body heat, your intentions, your milestones. A wedding ring remembers every promise. A bracelet holds the courage you wore into a difficult day. These are not mere accessories. They are energy companions. So what happens when you place one in a zone of drainage? Let's start with the sink. Perhaps the most common place we set jewelry just for a second. But the sink is more than a bowl of porcelain. It's a vortex. In energy terms, it functions like a suction mouth, gathering and pulling everything toward the drain. Water, yes, soap, skin cells, but also resonance. When a ring or necklace is placed on the sink edge, even dry, it sits in a field of energetic descent. Feng Shui refers to this as pulling kai, where surrounding flow draws energy downward, destabilizing the object nearby. Ever felt your ring feel off after setting it there, even just once? Like it doesn't feel as warm or quite as protective? That's no accident. You've placed a wealth symbol in a space designed to release. Now let's talk about the toilet lid. It might sound obvious, but it's still one of the most misused surfaces. Maybe you're changing, rushing, trying not to lose the tiny stud earrings. You place them on the toilet lid for safekeeping. But this is perhaps the most energetically heavy zone in the home. It's not just about hygiene. In energetic terms, the toilet represents the deepest point of elimination. The suction that removes physical waste also carries powerful yin energy, meaning down, dense, dissipating. To place jewelry here is to tie your abundance to the act of disposal. Think about what that says to your subconscious. That your prosperity is temporary, removable, something that can be set down near what you no longer want. Over time, this subtly shapes how you treat your finances. Maybe you downplay your needs, shrink your sense of value, make choices that diminish your worth, and it may have all started with a ring on the toilet lid. Then we move to the mirror shelf. This one deceives us because it feels clean. It's dry, elevated, even decorative. But energetically, this is one of the most unstable zones in the bathroom. Why? Because mirrors don't just reflect, they multiply. In Feng Shui, mirrors are amplifiers of energy. They bounce vibration. And when mixed with artificial lighting, steam, and sound echo from the room, the mirror shelf becomes a swirl of fragmented energy. Jewelry placed here doesn't rest. It spins, metaphorically and energetically, within a loop of light and illusion. Feng Shui teaches that when we see our jewelry in the mirror, especially repeatedly, it creates a fragmented ownership effect. You're seeing the image of your wealth item, not the item itself. Over time, this subtly detaches you from the object's true presence. It no longer feels like an extension of you. It feels distant, double, confused. And when our tools of protection or attraction no longer feel like ours, we no longer trust them. Or ourselves. What all these examples have in common is this. The bathroom, by its very function, is a space of moving energy downward. Jewelry, by contrast, is meant to hold, to stabilize, to anchor. When you place a holder in a flow zone, its memory becomes unstable. Its purpose slips. It becomes like a photograph left in a rainstorm, still visible, but faded, curling at the edges. And when your energy tools fade, you feel it. Increased financial indecision, forgotten bills, a sense that your efforts never seem to stick. You start something and it slips, you save and it disappears, you intend and it weakens. All because a piece of your energy memory sat too long beside draining water. But here's the hope, it's not permanent. Energy misplacement is not punishment, it's a signal. And when you notice it, you can shift, start today. Choose a soft cloth box, a wooden tray, a small ceramic dish placed on your dresser or beside your altar. Let it be warm, still, and dry. Every time you remove your jewelry, set it there with intention, not tossed, not hidden, but held just like your energy deserves to be. Let that action be your new anchor, and let the current of loss become a stillness of return. Number 2, the mirror trap. How reflection distorts wealth energy. You thought the mirror shelf was the safest place. Clean, elevated, and easy to reach. But what if it's actually amplifying chaos and sending your wealth energy spinning into confusion? In many homes, the shelf beneath the bathroom mirror seems like a logical spot. A place for perfume, face cream, maybe a small tray for rings and earrings. It feels tidy. But in Feng Shui, the mirror shelf is one of the most deceptively turbulent zones. The problem isn't what you see, it's what you don't feel. To understand the energy of a mirror, we have to remember this. Mirrors don't just reflect images. They bounce light, movement, and vibration. When something is placed near a mirror, its energy doesn't rest. It echoes, it duplicates, it fragments. And jewelry, being one of the most emotionally resonant objects we own, becomes especially vulnerable in this kind of space. A ring placed on a mirror shelf does not simply sit. It is multiplied in image, sometimes twice, sometimes endlessly, depending on angles and lighting. From an energetic perspective, this creates what's called a splintered vibrational loop. That means instead of grounding your wealth energy, the item becomes caught in a cycle of endless reflections that are visually beautiful but energetically scattered. This can lead to a sensation that many women quietly recognize. Feeling unsettled after putting jewelry back on, like something doesn't quite fit, like the ring is off. Or the necklace no longer feels like it belongs. It's not in your head, it's in your field. This is where energy meets emotion. Jewelry that sits in front of a mirror absorbs the distorted energy patterns of that space. Cold artificial lighting, usually white or bluish in bathrooms. Steam from hot showers, echoing sound, and glass surfaces combine to create a zone of hyperactivity. a place where clarity cannot land. Now imagine leaving your wedding ring there night after night. You may start to feel more anxious about finances, uncertain about your decisions, restless in your planning. You'll find it harder to hold your focus. You may even experience a disconnection from the very things you value: your money, your belongings, your sense of grounded purpose. Feng Shui practitioners often describe this as reflected identity loss. When you see your jewelry reflected repeatedly without holding it, touching it, or feeling it, you begin to relate to its image rather than its essence. The object becomes an illusion, a shadow, a symbol that slips away. One of the oldest metaphysical truths is this: what you look at repeatedly, you become emotionally entangled with. If what you look at is a duplicate, never fully present, it disrupts the felt sense of ownership. Instead of "this is mine," the subconscious begins to whisper, "this is just a version of mine." Over time, that can spiral into financial confusion. You might feel like you never quite grasp your goals, like something keeps moving just out of reach, like you're always almost there. And all of it could trace back to a simple shelf in your bathroom. But we're not here to create fear. We're here to create awareness, and with awareness comes healing. So what can you do? Start by understanding that mirrors are not inherently negative, they're powerful. But like all power, they require boundaries, especially with items that hold personal charge. Here are 3 gentle shifts to restore clarity. 1. Remove all jewelry from the mirror shelf permanently. Even if you love the convenience, even if the tray looks beautiful, find a new home for your most important pieces. 2. Cleanse both the mirror and your jewelry. Wipe the mirror with warm water infused with lemon or salt. Cleanse your jewelry with soft incense smoke or morning sunlight. Let the energetic tangle be undone with intention. 3. Create a new placement zone that invites stillness, not reflection. Choose a place without mirrors, preferably wood over glass, soft over cold. Think: a velvet-lined drawer, a silk pouch in a jewelry box, a wooden tray on your dresser with a small candle beside it. Every time you move your jewelry into this new space, affirm softly: I welcome clarity. I release confusion. My energy is whole. My wealth is steady. These small rituals send a strong signal to both your environment and your inner self. They say, I see what I did not see before, and I choose a different path. There's one final note, something quiet but deeply healing. When you remove your jewelry at the end of the day, hold it for a moment. Cup it in your hands. Feel its weight. Thank it, not with words, but with breath. This is how you bring the energy back from illusion into presence, from scatter into stillness. Because the mirror may show you how you appear, but only intention reveals who you are. Number 3, shower floor shadows, jewelry in the fog of loss. It feels neat, protective. You tuck your jewelry into a small box and slide it near the floor just outside the shower. But what if that quiet corner is actually where your energy begins to suffocate? Many women believe they're doing the right thing, keeping their rings, bracelets, and necklaces dry, tucked away in a container near the shower floor. It seems clean, organized, even respectful. But in Feng Shui, not all silence is peace, and not all stillness is safety. The area near the shower floor is one of the most misunderstood spaces in your home. It is, by function and design, the most water-dominant zone. Steam rises, moisture lingers, chemicals swirl in the air. Shampoo, soap, conditioner, even cleansing sprays, all of it released and rinsed away. But where does it settle before it drains? On the floor. Unlike a vanity or counter which rises above the energy line of the room, the floor collects the heaviest, slowest, and most stagnant energy. Feng Shui masters describe this as the fog zone, a place where energy doesn't flow cleanly, but lingers in a dull, invisible cloud. Now imagine placing your most emotionally charged object, your jewelry, into that fog. Even inside a box, it cannot breathe. Energy doesn't need direct contact to affect an object. Just like fabric can absorb scent, jewelry absorbs the vibration of its surroundings. And in a box placed near the floor, your jewelry begins to steep in what we call passive energetic disruption. The signs are subtle but real. Crystals begin to lose their shine. Gold feels colder on the skin. You put on a bracelet you've worn for years, but it feels foreign, like it no longer belongs to you. That's not imagination. That's a shift in energy alignment. This often happens when items sit too long in places where airflow is low and moisture is high. The item begins to take on the vibration of stagnation. In emotional terms, it's like wearing a memory that no longer inspires. It weighs you down. What makes the shower floor especially risky is the blend of elements. Steam, warmth, water, and the chemicals from products you use daily mix into an invisible mist that clings to everything it touches. Your skin can dry off in minutes, but your jewelry remembers. When stored too close to this zone, especially for days or weeks at a time, your energy tools begin to absorb confusion. They become damp not in temperature but in essence. Their signal weakens, their frequency lowers. This is why some women report feeling emotionally foggy, tired, or unmotivated after wearing jewelry kept in these areas. Plans don't stick. Ideas slip. You feel like you're walking through a mist you can't quite name. Even more deeply, storing jewelry near the floor sends a message to your subconscious. This is not precious enough to be elevated. And energy follows belief. In many spiritual traditions, elevation is protection. We place sacred things above the ground, on altars, on shelves, near light, because what is lifted stays alive. And what is lowered too long begins to forget its light. So what can we do? Start with compassion. You weren't wrong for trying to protect your jewelry. You were being careful, thoughtful. But now that you know what the shower floor holds, not just water but fog, let's choose a better path. Here's a healing action you can take today. 1. Relocate your jewelry storage to an elevated, dry, quiet zone. A wooden cabinet in your bedroom, a tray on your dresser, a jewelry stand on a shelf beside warm lighting. Choose height. Choose calm, too. Cleanse what has been stored too low for too long. If your jewelry feels off, let it rest overnight in a bowl of dry Himalayan salt or on a clean cloth under the morning sun. Light a stick of gentle incense, like sandalwood or agarwood, and let the smoke swirl around each piece as you breathe deeply. 3. Hold your jewelry close, one piece at a time. Say quietly, I lift you back into light. I restore your strength. We rise together. This act may seem small, but energy always responds to care. And the next time you prepare to bathe or shower, pause. Instead of placing your jewelry near the floor, wrap it gently in cloth and leave it outside the bathroom door. Let it rest in a space that reflects the value it holds for you, not just in gold, but in meaning. Because jewelry, like wealth, should never sit in the fog. It deserves clarity, elevation, breath, and so do you. Number 4, toilet lid convenience. The costliest place to set something sacred. It's just for a moment, you tell yourself. A ring, a necklace resting on the toilet lid while you change or wash your hands. But what if that moment is costing you something far more valuable than you realize? We've all done it. In the rush of daily life, we choose the closest surface, a quick second. Just enough time to wash, rinse, change, or reach for something. The toilet lid becomes a temporary tray, It feels harmless, neutral, clean enough. But in Feng Shui, the toilet is far from neutral. It is, in fact, the most energetically intense and draining spot in the entire home. The toilet represents full release, not just physical, but energetic. It's the point of final disposal, the place where used energy exits the body and home. Water here does not circulate, it evacuates. That movement is downward, forceful, and symbolic. To place jewelry, objects of memory, intention, and wealth on top of this symbol of release is to subtly instruct your subconscious. This can be discarded. This is no longer sacred. Even if you don't think those words, your energy system understands the message. Feng Shui teaches us that every object holds a frequency, and every placement reflects a belief. Jewelry, when placed on the toilet lid, absorbs the downward pull of release. It is energetically flushed, not physically but symbolically. And with repeated exposure, it begins to carry the resonance of letting go rather than holding power. Many women don't notice the consequences right away, but over time they show up. You may begin to lose confidence in your financial decisions. Doubt creeps in where there was once clarity. You wear the same ring you've always loved, but it feels dull. You feel less grounded, more forgetful, oddly fatigued. It's not that the jewelry is broken, it's that the bond between you and the object has weakened. When a sacred object is placed in a space of waste, its energy memory fractures. Like placing a family heirloom in a trash drawer, it's not about cleanliness, but about reverence. In some energy traditions, this is called energetic contamination. It doesn't mean your jewelry is cursed or ruined. It means it's absorbed too much low-frequency vibration, subtle traces of waste, bacteria, sound echoes, and movement. And when worn again, that fog follows you. It's no coincidence that some people feel emotionally off or heavy after putting on jewelry stored or left in such places. Your body knows, your field remembers, and it goes deeper. The toilet is a place of spiral energy, a constant downward pull. This isn't metaphor, it's motion. Every flush creates a vortex, and that vortex radiates subtly outward, touching the surrounding area with a field of energetic drop. Place your ring there, even briefly, and it becomes caught in that flow. In Feng Shui, this is referred to as the reversal of intention. The object you meant to protect becomes energetically aligned with loss. The wealth you hope to attract now sits beside what you discard. That misalignment can ripple into your habits, thoughts, and even your finances. So what's the remedy? Start with forgiveness. You didn't know, you were moving quickly. Life demands flexibility, but from today you can choose again. Here's what you can do. 1. Make a conscious decision. Never place sacred items, jewelry, spiritual tokens, keepsakes on or near the toilet again. Not for a moment. Not even just this once. This is your line of energetic protection. 2. Cleanse jewelry that has been left there. You don't need anything fancy. Begin with breath. Hold the item in your hand. Say, I lift you out of loss. I return you to light. Then, if possible, place it in sunlight for 30 minutes. Let the natural rhythm of warmth and clarity rebalance its field. 3. Create a designated catch space. A small tray outside the bathroom. A velvet box on your bedroom dresser. A wooden plate near your sink. Somewhere clean, elevated, and intentional. Each time you choose reverence over rush, you strengthen your field. Because how we treat our sacred things reflects how we treat our own energy. When you protect what holds your story, your ring, your necklace, you're also protecting the parts of yourself that trust, hope, and believe. And when those parts feel honored, they begin to shine again. So the next time you feel tempted to set something precious on the lid of convenience, pause, ask yourself, is this a place of holding or a place of letting go? You already know the answer. Number 5, jewelry as an energy memory, what it absorbs and loses. You may think your jewelry is just metal and stone, but what if it's also memory, breathing in your thoughts, storing your emotions, and quietly mirroring what you forget to notice? In Feng Shui, every item we wear close to the skin becomes more than an accessory. It becomes a vessel. Jewelry, especially when worn regularly, starts to absorb not just physical warmth, but also the energetic imprint of the wearer. That necklace you wore when your child was born, the bracelet you held during a job interview, the ring passed down from your grandmother. These are not just ornaments, they are silent recorders of your emotional seasons. Jewelry holds energy. It remembers. But just like memory, it can be distorted. Not all energy is uplifting. When your jewelry is placed in chaotic, low-vibration environments, bathrooms, mirror corners, near drains, or on toilet lids, it doesn't just sit in those spaces. It drinks them in. Feng Shui describes this process as energetic imprinting. Jewelry begins to store the dominant frequencies of its environment. If those frequencies are chaotic, wet, unstable, or filled with downward flow, as bathrooms often are, your jewelry absorbs confusion, fatigue, even anxiety. And then you wear it, that's when the cycle completes itself. You put the ring on and feel off. Your thoughts become cloudy, you feel strangely low on energy, you second-guess your decisions. It's subtle, easy to dismiss, but it repeats. What's happening is not a flaw in the object. It's the natural result of energy exposure. The body, being sensitive, reacts. Have you ever put on a necklace and felt like it just didn't belong to you anymore? Or worn a pair of earrings and found yourself short-tempered, tired, or out of sync for no clear reason? This is what we call energetic misalignment. The item still looks the same, but the vibration it carries no longer matches your current field. And that mismatch creates tension, not always emotional, but often spiritual and physical. In healing practice, we refer to jewelry as memory-bearing objects. They hold your highs and lows. When treated with reverence, they amplify your strength. But when left in spaces of drainage or distortion, they begin to echo back confusion. And here's something most women don't know. Not all cleansing is physical. Polishing your ring removes dirt, but to remove stale energy, you must invite presence. Start by holding the item with both hands. Feel its weight, not just its material form, but its story. Then ask yourself, when did I stop feeling connected to this? Sometimes the answer is clear. Sometimes it arrives as a feeling. This reflection opens the path to gentle restoration. Here are 3 steps to help restore your jewelry's energy memory. 1. Acknowledge the bond. Before cleansing, say softly, "You carried me through many moments. I honor what you've held." This step isn't about the item, it's about your relationship with it. 2. Cleanse with light and salt. Place the item in a small bowl of dry Himalayan salt overnight. In the morning, lay it in natural light, not harsh sun, but the gentle rays before 9 a.m. Let the earth and sky do their part. 3. Reconnect with breath. Hold the item again. Breathe slowly. Say, "I welcome only what uplifts. I release what no longer serves." This is the difference between ownership and partnership. When we treat our jewelry as sacred companions, rather than forgotten objects, they serve us more deeply. They amplify clarity, they anchor intention, they remind us who we are when we forget. And that's not mystical thinking, that's energy literacy. Feng Shui teaches that energy moves through intention, breath, and environment. When those 3 align, even the smallest object becomes powerful. A bracelet on your wrist becomes a shield. A ring becomes a compass. A pendant becomes a point of light. but only when it is cared for. The mistake many people make is believing that their jewelry will work on its own, that its meaning is fixed, that once it's blessed, charged, or worn with purpose, it will always hold that strength. But energy is like breath, it must be renewed. So ask yourself, when was the last time I cleared the energy from my favorite ring? When did I last place my jewelry in a space of calm and light? Have I unknowingly asked it to hold my stress without offering it stillness? Your answers will guide you. And if your jewelry has sat too long in the shadows, in fog, in moisture, in mirrors, or drains, don't panic. Don't toss it aside. Cleanse it with grace. Reclaim it with breath. Place it where energy lifts, not leaks. Because jewelry doesn't just decorate the body, it partners with the soul. Treat it as such. And it will return the favor, with grounding, clarity, and the quiet confidence that prosperity remembers where it is cherished. Number 6, healing spaces, where jewelry can recharge your financial flow. If the wrong space can quietly drain your wealth, then the right space can gently restore it. So where should your jewelry live, if you want it to truly support your abundance? In Feng Shui, placement is everything. Just as certain rooms support rest and others inspire movement, certain locations in your home either amplify or suppress the subtle energy fields of your personal belongings. When it comes to jewelry, especially items tied to wealth, confidence, or emotional protection, this truth becomes vital. You now know where not to place them: the bathroom sink, toilet lid, mirror shelf, or beside the shower floor. These are zones of dispersing energy, filled with moisture, chaos, and energetic leakage. But what about the opposite? What are the healing zones, the places in your home that breathe stability, light, and flow? Feng Shui offers several core principles for creating what we call a wealth resting place. This is not just storage. It's an energetic partnership between your jewelry and your living environment. Let's begin with the most essential elements. One, elevation reflects respect. Energy, like water, responds to gravity. In Feng Shui, anything placed above waist level is considered honored. The higher the item, the more energy it retains. Think of altars, bookshelves, even family photos. We lift what we love. So your jewelry, especially rings, bracelets, or pendants that symbolize abundance, should be stored somewhere above the hip line. Not on the floor, not under a sink, not behind a door. Let it rest where it can see the room, breathe the air, and connect with your daily rhythm. A wooden shelf, a velvet-lined drawer, or a ceramic dish on a personal dresser all invite this respectful elevation. 2, materials that support energy flow. Jewelry absorbs what surrounds it, not only in temperature but in frequency. That's why plastic boxes, metal drawers, and acrylic cases often dull the vibration of your items. Instead, use containers made of natural materials: wood, fabric, soft stone. These are stable, nourishing, and calming to your jewelry's memory field. The most recommended combinations in Feng Shui include red or yellow silk or velvet linings for earth energy and stability, wooden containers for warmth, flow, and grounding, soft clay or ceramic trays for gentleness and light containment. Avoid hard black interiors, mirrors, or cold metal near storage unless balanced with warmth or cloth. 3, directional energy, west and southwest. According to Flying Star and 8 Mansion Feng Shui systems, certain directions in the home support different life areas. For jewelry linked to wealth and feminine stability, the most healing directions are west, associated with creativity, self-expression, and lasting value. Southwest, deeply connected to relationship energy, grounding, and earth element. Placing your jewelry box, stand, or altar in these directions allows it to draw energy from the earth, calming, nourishing, and centering vibrations. Even if you don't compass check every room, simply noticing which side of your bedroom or dressing space feels settled can be a strong intuitive guide. 4. Stillness over motion. Energy rests best in quiet zones. Avoid placing your jewelry near loudspeakers, electronics, doors that swing open often, or air vents. All of these agitate subtle frequencies. Choose corners where air is calm, light is soft, and the space feels still. This is where memory integrates. This is where items recover their power. Think of it as giving your jewelry a place to exhale. 5. Create a micro-altar of intention. You don't need crystals, candles, or symbols unless they truly speak to you. But creating a small space of intention, where jewelry is placed with care and presence, invites deep alignment. Add a simple affirmation card, a photo that inspires gratitude, a bodhi seed or natural stone. Anything that reminds you of your clarity and worth. This way, each time you remove or wear your jewelry, you touch not just an object, but a field of energy you've built with purpose. And if you want to take it one step deeper, leave a small note inside your jewelry box with a personal truth. Something like, "I deserve to be surrounded by beauty and wealth. What I wear reflects what I carry inside. Abundance flows through me, gently and steadily." Each time you open the box, you'll reinforce the vibration of prosperity, not just in material form, but in belief. Final, the sun is soft now. It slips gently across your dresser, touching the rim of a small wooden box. Inside it, a ring glimmers, not just with gold, but with presence, with memory, with clarity. It hasn't changed, but you have. You no longer see it as an object. You feel it as a companion, a holder of energy, a partner in intention, and that changes everything. In Feng Shui, prosperity isn't about wealth alone. It's about what stays, what lingers, what supports you when everything else flows away. And your jewelry, those delicate bracelets, inherited rings, everyday necklaces, carry that energy not because they're expensive, but because they're close. They remember your breath. They mirror your moods. They store your unspoken prayers. And when you place them in spaces of light, elevation, and warmth, they begin to remember what they're meant to do: protect you, empower you, draw fortune toward you not by force, but by resonance. No more mirrors that split your energy. No more lids that lower your worth. No more corners of fog and forgetting. Just stillness. Just intention. Just the soft return of something sacred to where it always belonged. Beside your calm, beside your clarity. So the next time you remove your ring, don't toss it aside. Place it like a seed. Like something waiting to bloom again in the quiet of your home. And perhaps ask yourself, if this small act can restore my flow, what other parts of me am I ready to return to the light?